Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Yellowstone star Kevin Costner believes THI's particular change can actually help Americans. Kevin Costner wants to see a change in the way America educates its children. While sitting with the Associated Press, the Oscar-winning actor and filmmaker expressed, "I wish we would have a giant shift in education where history dominated more than math. The people that are really good at math, they're going to search out math anyway, 'cause that's who they are, they're just built that way. What matters," he said, "is everybody can understand where they come from." Costner, who has often explored American themes in his work, from the frontier in Dances with Wolves to Field of Dreams, graduated from Cal State Fullerton in 1978 with a degree in business administration. He later returned to the campus in 2007 to speak with students. "You'll need to listen to your inner voice," he told them. "There's no blueprint for success. What's really interesting is how you're going to do it." Kevin Costner thinks filmmaking is not political. The Yellowstone star has largely avoided politics. Earlier this year, he attended a Super Bowl party in New Orleans, and in an interview with Fox News around that time, he stressed that filmmaking has nothing to do with politics. "Instead, I think you make the best movie you can for an audience and understand that you have a chance. Every so often you have a chance to do something meaningful, and sometimes it's just pure fun. Movies don't have to be important, but they have to have an audience in mind." Costner also pushed back against the idea that politics should influence the movie-going experience, saying, "It's got nothing to do with politics. It's about the people sitting in the dark." In an era marked by deep political divides, economic turbulence, and environmental uncertainty, it's rare to hear a voice that cuts through the noise with a grounded, practical vision. But Kevin Costner, the iconic star of Yellowstone and a longtime observer of American life, believes there's one particular change that could genuinely help Americans, not just in the abstract, but in their daily lives, and it might not be what you'd expect from a Hollywood veteran. For Costner, the answer isn't found in flashier proposals or grand ideological crusades. It's rooted in a return to something much simpler: investing in local community infrastructure. Costner, who has long portrayed rugged, principled characters fighting to protect their land and legacy, sees a deep disconnect growing between ordinary Americans and the institutions meant to serve them. In interviews and appearances, he's spoken passionately about how neglected town centers, crumbling public schools, and forgotten rural roads are more than just symbols of decay. They're signs that America has stopped listening to itself. "People feel like they've been left behind," he once remarked, "not just economically, but emotionally. The places they grew up in don't look the same. Their schools don't work the same. Their neighbors have moved away, or worse, lost hope." But what's the particular change Costner believes can help reverse that sense of loss? "We have to go back to the ground level," he says. "Fix our roads, rebuild our parks, modernize our schools, and create safe, beautiful spaces where people want to be. If you want to heal a nation, start with its neighborhoods." It might not sound glamorous, but Costner isn't aiming for glamour. He's aiming for results. The actor, now in his late 60s, isn't just an observer. He's a builder, both on screen and off. In addition to his work in entertainment, Costner has been involved in projects aimed at water purification and environmental protection. He's a believer in action over words, and he sees America's fractured identity as something that can be reassembled not by rhetoric, but by concrete improvements in the places people live. "Politics are a distraction if they don't lead to results," he said in a recent roundtable discussion. "People don't need more speeches. They need jobs in their towns. They need to see their tax dollars building something tangible, something that lasts." Costner's idea taps into a broader movement that's been quietly gaining momentum: place-based revitalization. It's the belief that strong communities are the bedrock of strong nations. It's about making towns walkable again, revitalizing libraries, opening up vocational training centers, and bringing healthcare within reach. But perhaps what makes Costner's viewpoint resonate is his uniquely American blend of idealism and realism. He's not proposing utopia. He's advocating for what he calls dignity through investment. The dignity of having a sidewalk that doesn't crack under your kid's bike tires. The dignity of not having to drive 30 miles for groceries. The dignity of sending your child to a school that has working heat and up-to-date textbooks. Every American town has a story, he says. We're losing those stories when we let them fall apart. Costner's vision is also shaped by his own upbringing. Raised in California, but with roots in Middle America, he has always been drawn to the land and to the people who work it. It's no coincidence that Yellowstone became a cultural phenomenon. The show, which chronicles the struggles of a ranching family fighting to preserve its legacy, echoes many of the concerns real Americans feel today about losing identity, purpose, and autonomy. John Dutton, his character on Yellowstone, doesn't fight for power. He fights for continuity, for his land, for his family, for a way of life, Costner explains. I think most people want to fight for something that's real, and I think they'll fight for their communities if we give them the tools. He's quick to clarify that this isn't about red or blue. We've made everything about sides, but cracked roads and broken lights don't care who you voted for. For Costner, the change America needs isn't flashy, it's foundational. And in a media landscape that often rewards outrage over outcome, his calm insistence on basics, on roads, schools, water, parks, and people, is refreshingly radical. Critics might say infrastructure is the government's job, and they're not wrong. But Costner believes this is where citizens come in too. We can vote for better leadership. We can show up to city council meetings. We can volunteer. We can start local initiatives. Waiting for Washington to fix Main Street? That hasn't worked in a long time. There's also a deeper layer to his argument. Costner believes that when people see change where they live, it changes how they see each other. Fixing a town builds trust, and trust builds unity. It's harder to hate your neighbor when you've both painted the same community center wall. Whether it's organizing food drives or helping restore an old movie theater, the little efforts add up. That's why Costner says the particular change he believes in is not just physical, it's spiritual. When people feel seen and supported where they live, it does something to their spirit. It's like turning the lights back on. So while others may chase grand ideas to save America, Kevin Costner is urging us to look down to the sidewalks, the schools, the senior centers, and start there. It's not about turning back the clock. It's about building forward with purpose, reconnecting with what matters, restoring pride block by block. In his words, you don't need to save the whole country to make a difference. Just start with your zip code. And maybe, just maybe, that's how real change begins.